Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we'll be talking about mages, rune pages for mages. I did not do that, but whatever. Clicked on this. We'll be focusing on really no type of mage. We'll try to do a different, like mana style and not mana. So of course, the first thing you want to take as a mage, probably sorcery. Now, a lot of people like Arcane Comet, and it is decent. It really is. It allows you to do a decent amount of damage, and if you have if you're like say playing a Lux, then you can easily proc it off of Lux's binding or Morgana's binding, or Twisted Fate's stun. Any type of CC that does damage, you can almost guarantee that you're gonna hit the Arcane Comet. Personally, I like Avery or Airy. The reason being, it allows you to proc off auto attacks rather than just abilities. But it's personal preference. Airy does a little less damage, but has a lower cooldown, as well as lower scaling. It's just like a quicker version of Arcane Comet with 100% hit rate. It's really good into those matchups where you like a range versus a melee matchup. You can easily throw out auto attacks. Phase Rush is the old Storm Raider's Surge, so if you want to like make a quick getaway, you want to burst someone down, and run, then this would be it. It's a little more conditional than the old one. The old one you just had to do a certain amount of damages when you have to hit with 3 abilities. But it does say 3 attacks or separate abilities, so you could say hit them with Q, auto attack, hit them with E. If you're like a Vladimir, hit them with the Q, hit them with auto attack, hit them with the explodey thing that I don't know what ability that is. So this is all situational in your personal preference. You could also take Electrocute, which is the old Thunderlords, but in my opinion it takes, like in laning phase it's going to be 50 to at the lowest like 30 seconds, which is kind of huge for a cooldown compared to 20 to 8 or very low. I don't really. You could also take an inspiration one if you want to be more like utility style mage. Yeah. That would be it for keystones. You could potentially take Dark Harvest if you want to try something, but I wouldn't suggest it. But we're going to focus on sorcery. The next one, if you're in a lane where you feel like you're going to take a lot of get bursted down, like maybe against your Katarina or a Diana or LeBlanc, and you're not really good at doing that, then a Nullifying Orb would be great, because it basically gives you like a Hex Drinker. Mana Flow Bind it could be buffed in a way that the cooldown, like if they took out the restores 8% of your missing mana and energy, and just every like 30 seconds your next ability has a mana cost, energy, refine it, or whatever, something like that, it'd be a bit better, I think. But if you want to go for like the long sustain, and you're playing a champion with heavy mana costs and very low sustain, even with like a Dorrance ring and stuff, then this would be a very decent choice. But it's just outclassed by these two, I think. The Ultimate Hat. This cooldown, it takes into account after other cooldown reduction. So if you have like say 100, your ultimate's on a 100-second cooldown, and you get 45% CDR, and you have this fully stacked, it's not 60% CDR. It's 45%, which lowers the 100 seconds down to 55 seconds, and then 15% of that 55 seconds, which in reality is only about like 7.8 seconds, rather than 15% of the 100-second cooldown. So it's still like more CDR, but it's not as much as you think. But we'll say we're playing again, but I like it. Gives me a good like 4 seconds off my ultimate mostly. Now I've done a bit of test with this thing on Hecarim, with Predator, Swiftness Boots, and a whole bunch of ability items. And I've seen it go up to 80 AD. Which is a lot. But I needed so much to get it there. With just like Swiftness Boots, Dead Man's Plate, and yeah, it gave me like maybe 4 AP or 4 AD. 4 or 5. I think it was actually 10, which is not terrible, but it's not really that great. You could take Adaptive Focus if you're planning on just like having a bit of just trying to burst someone down before they have a chance to react. If you're playing like a Vigor or a Syndra, you just walk them out someone. This is all a nice damage boost. But Transcendence could make some very odd builds viable. Like there was someone on the forums talking about a Zillion build with like 60% CDR or like 60 or 70% CDR, and it was mostly tank, but it gave him like a decent amount of AP each percent, so that'd be like what, 30, so an extra 60 AP, 70 AP, 60, 80 AP, which is really nice if you think about it. So if you think you're going to be able to go over the cap, or even if you just want the 10% CDR at level 10, this is a nice one. So we'll take that one. Now, Water Walking is good if you're going to play like a champion that roams a lot, but Gathering Stormer is good for champions like Nasus or Vigor who want to stall out the game as long as possible. Or just maybe a Kog'Maw. A lot of people think Scorch is pretty bad, and it is. But it procs off of any ability really that does damage, it will proc it. So Twitch's E will proc it. And in my opinion, it's actually better than Predator. Yeah, it's much better than Predator. You can get roughly the same amount of damage between this one and a Keystone. The Keystone is definitely not great. So this would be my standard thing for, like I say, a Vigor. That's just my personal preference. I play a very odd Vigor. A good secondary choice is Inspiration, simply because you can get the perfect timing. So if someone's going to dive you, you get the stopwatch. Next choice would be a good Cosmic Insight. And the bonus would be, yeah. Now, if you wanted to go, say, an Inspiration style, you might want to take Unsealed Spellbook. You could take Glacial Augment, but that's very item reliant. But the interesting about this is it has no range. So if you hit someone with like a, say you're playing support and you hit someone with a max range spell, Frost Queen's, whatever it's called, then no matter, as long as you hit them with it, they'll get slowed. You can always take Kleptomancy, Q, hit someone with a Q and then auto-attack them, gain some gold. But we're gonna take, for this mid lane, we'll take Unsealed Spellbook. Then we'll take Perfect Timing. You could also take Biscuit Delivery if you're playing a more, like two people are playing passive style, rather than your opponent's going to play aggressively. Now this is, you can increase your damage up to a minion up to 9%. That does include super minions. You can also increase the 3 main types up to 5%. It's not good though. It's not great. If you're playing like I just can't think of a scenario where this is better than either of these. Future's Market is interesting because of the lending fee. Every time you go in debt, you lose an extra 50 gold. So as long as you say if you get that first item, this is the first time you buy that's in debt, this is the best mastery, Rune, whatever, this is the best one. The second one, it becomes a little less great. Third one, even less than that. The more you use it, the less great it is, surprisingly. Because every time you use it, you get 50 gold. Then 100, you go in debt by 50 gold. Then add on another 50, then add on another 50, then add on another 50. You do use it 10 times That's 500 gold you wasted, which you could have easily put towards your next item. Magical footwear is... it's great after 10 minutes, but not before. It's pretty bad before. But that 10 movement speed and 50 gold cheaper, it's really nice, believe it or not. You can go take champions who have like a cap out, normally like a normal build, they'll be at like 370 or 380. This puts them to 390, 385, which helps them put in line with other ones. This one is interesting. It's more of a support one, but you could also use it on like a Lux or Morgana. This would actually be really nice on Morgana because you want to get close. You hit them with your Q, and you have a chance, and you get 10% movement speed running towards them to ult them. But I would take Cosmic Insight. That way, our summoner spells are reduced by like 30%, rather than just 25%. Also, an interesting note: if you start with Smite, you could potentially buy the jungle item, switch over to a Flash or Ignite or something, and still continue to upgrade the jungle item. Just something for, say, a gimmick build. Next one, I would probably take something like... this would be more like a utility mage rather than someone... This is similar to how I play my Vigor. So because I like the cooldown reduction on this, the ultimate cooldown reduction, and the ability to farm very easily after level 10 with all the CDR. If you were going to go a burst mage on, like, say, Electrocute, though, not too many well, Diana does. You could potentially take this. You could also potentially take this, just to have some sustain in lane. Cheap shot, it's... I want to like it, I do, but I don't know if I actually do like it. You could take it and try it out. As I said, people with like bindings and whatnot, it could easily proc. Eyeball Collection is terrible. Ghost Pora was not great either. So Zombie Ward, it would allow you to have like more vision, an extra 3 minutes of it, or at least until they see it. It could potentially save you one gank per ward, sort of thing. Interesting about Zombie Ward, if you go over the warding limit with normal wards, the ward that dies does not spawn a Zombie Ward. But we'll take Zombie Ward. And the next one would probably be Ravenous Hunter, because this one is absolutely terrible. The only time you, like, think of how many active items are in the game and think of how long the cooldown is. Because I do not believe Guardian Angels is a cooldown, and that's probably the longest, that is the longest cooldown item, or it's not an active. Ravenous Hunter could be useful if you're playing, like, say, like a roaming mage, Twisted Fate. Maybe you're playing like trying to do old Stormriders Vigor, but you decided to go Electrocute instead of Stormriders, and this will allow you like run down the river. But I think we'll take this. It's just Spell Vamp. It's also good. And then you could potentially take something like Ultimate Hat, Transcendence, or if you wanted more damage, you could take Absolute Focus and Scorch, or Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. This would allow you to probably get a decent amount of burst. If you want to be a bit more this and this. You could also potentially take Demolish for pushing towers in the mid lane, and if you feel like you're going to get poked down a bit, Second Wind. Or if you want to go a bit more healthy page, you could take Overgrowth and just hard farm mid lane for a while. Get a lot of bonus health. But yeah, the page I'm most fond of is probably that one. That is my favorite page for VR. Of course, I've been trying on this page recently, and I've been having some success with it. I might switch this over to Scorch, actually. In fact, I will. Anyway. That's going to be it for today. Tune in next time for... what should we build next time? I think we'll build assassins next time. So yeah, tune in tomorrow for assassins. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for hanging out. See you next time. Bye.